So this is the card we're going to be creating today. It is so beautiful, or at least I'm going to show you how to create it. And this is the reverse from this die. So I'm going to show you how to do this. It is absolutely fabulous. This was done with the Fancy Lattice die from Pink and Main. Lisa used this today on her live also, and she created a beautiful tribute to her mom, and she did a wall hanging. So there's so many things you can do with dies. And right now, since I am so in love with foiling, that's what I'm going to share with you. So I have some new paper. It's black and white florals and black and white geometrics. And this one, I don't know if you can see that very well. This was done with the reverse of one of the black and white florals. And it was done on the toner paper. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to bring my laminator up close so that I'm able to get this started, and then we'll talk about some of this process here. So to do laminating, you need paper that you're able to foil. And that's what my cardstock is. And this is the cardstock I used for this, but I used the negative of it. And today, I'm going to use this beautiful Deco foil from ThermoWeb. And it has all those pretty colors in there. And what you do is you take your cardstock and you put the shiny side, the pretty side up. And then you can use parchment paper, or because I foil so much and I run out of my parchment paper, I use copy paper, which works just fine. And when you do this, you want to stick this folded side in first, and this is just the carrier sheet to put it through. So when I first saw this fabulous die from Pink and Main, I knew I wanted to do the positive and negative of this pattern. And while I love foiling, sometimes you have a couple that don't turn out perfectly. Can you imagine that? Well, I can't throw any of those away. And let me show you. I think I have maybe a couple here. Like this one. It bubbled up just a little bit. So maybe I won't use that as the focal point for a card, but you could definitely die cut it and it would look absolutely beautiful. Otherwise, here I always like to run mine through twice, so I'm going to stick that through one more time. And then show you this one. Like this one, I foiled, and my foil was, it crinkled up as it went through for some strange reason. So I had all these lines, which is a really great look for a distressed piece. But I took and I used that same die and die cut this. And you can't even tell any of those, you know, there's some little pieces right there maybe, but you can't really tell that that was messed up. So this is a good way to use maybe some of your pieces that may be messed up a little bit. We'd like to think none of them do, but it does happen. Okay, so now this is the best part. This is the reveal. And it's so beautiful Can you see all that beautiful shine? But we're going to take this same piece, and I like to run it through the laminator all by itself to make sure any wrinkles come out. And then we're going to put it on a piece of the black toner paper. And then we'll have the opposite effect, which is what I did with this one. This one I had foiled on the paper, and then I took the foil that was left over and put on a piece of toner paper, and that's why you have so much of the blue showing on here. I'm anxiously waiting for this to come out of the laminator, like my pulling it is going to help. Okay, so putting it through all by itself just helps make it nice and flat, and I find that helps me. And then I'm just going to take this solid black piece of toner paper, and again, I'm going to put through the laminator, and I'm going to do it twice. But so you can see, this is what the first piece turned out like, and then this is what the negative did. So, like I said, sometimes I will take one, I save all of my foils, and if some of them have little errors on them or happy mistakes that can turn into beautiful projects, I save these, because by die cutting it, it takes away the mistakes. You can't really see them. Like on this one, the foil didn't appear. But if you're going to die cut it, it's going to look beautiful no matter what. So I'm going to wait till this comes out, and then I'll show you how easy it is to die cut and get the reverse. And my secret is press and seal. Most people would have this in the kitchen, but it is a staple in my craft room. And I'm just going to take a piece of it so I'm ready. Beverly, yes, I love to use all my scraps. I like to save them. I even save, like, so I die cut this out. I'll save these because they're nice straight lines, and I can use those as an accent on something too if I need to give it a little pop. Okay, this has gone through twice. I'll move my laminator out of the way. And show you how beautiful this is. See what happens when you use it on the toner paper. You are able to use every single bit of that foil. I'm going to real quick plug in my computer. Because I had your questions popping up, and then my computer just shut off all by itself. So, isn't that beautiful? So I want to show you how easy it is to die cut this. What I do is I take the press and seal and I place it on the foil side of my cardstock. I froze on my computer, so I hope that you guys can still see me. And then I'll trim this down just a little bit because I'd be using my Big Shot and it's only so wide. So I trim off the excess. If it wanted to trim easily. Okay, I want to show you. You don't want to put it down on top of the press and seal. If you put it on top of the press and seal, it's still going to cut all the way through, and the press and seal won't totally cut out. But I do this when I'm not foiling something. I'll put it on the top. And I've never had a problem, but because this is foil, when I started to pull the press and seal off, some of the foil came off. So you don't want to do it on the top. This I can still use, and I can use it for a card because I can put the sentiment down here and maybe put ribbon up at the top, so I'll still save this. But you're going to want to put it on this way, and you're going to run this through your die cutting machine. And the first one I did, I die cut it and I ran it through twice. And the second one I ran through once. These dies are so nice, you don't have to run it through twice. And this is what you get, okay? So you have your die cut, you remove the die, and then you start at one corner, and very slowly you pick up and you can use, I have both a tweezer and a picker here. And you can use this if you need to. Sometimes you need to, sometimes you don't. But if something is coming up, and I just do this slowly, if something seems like it's going to come up, I just poke it down and it will stick to that press and seal. So it works out really nice. Like this little piece right here. It's usually the very last ones. And as much as I hate to admit it, this is a putsy project. I like quick and easy, and you all know I like quick and easy with fabulous results. And this is a project that takes a little more time. But I love the results so much. To me, it's worth it. So there, yep, this pulled up just a titch too, and it doesn't always. I would say 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. But I had this sitting overnight, and usually I pull it up right away. That might be why. So be aware that when you do it, pull it up right away. So to create this card, it simply was just glued down on top of there. But when you're done, you have this beautiful piece, and you're able to take this, and you want your card base, but so you can see how beautiful that is. There's where that extra little piece of foil is that pulled off, so you want to make sure you don't get that on your card. So this is something that's a little more putsy because you're not able to take this and just take a tape runner and tape the entire thing, because then you're going to get tape where you don't want it. So what I do, I take my glue and a toothpick, and I will go through and I will put a tiny bit of glue on all of those little pieces. That's where the putziness comes in. But the results are beautiful because once you have all the glue on there, you position this and then you start pulling the plastic away. And when you do that, you end up with this. Now on this one, when I did it, I took those little teeny tiny pieces off that would go right here. I didn't think they added that much to where it made the card look bad without them. And it was easier because those are so tiny to put the glue on. But you just take and you glue the entire thing down and it turns out so pretty. Now, if you wanted, you could, if you were very careful, you could use a tape runner on all the big pieces and then just come in with just a dab of glue on all those little pieces and then put it down. But it turns out so stunning, and you get two totally different looks with just that one die. Now, to create, like I love this saying, let's do wine. Oh, yes. So I have an ephemera pack with tons of sentiments that are all die cut out. And what I did was I chose the words I was going to use so they look like this. And then when you foil it, the foil goes on there. It doesn't work with every single one. I mean, it doesn't work with the ones that have the little tiny writing like this one. May all your wishes come true. This one you'd have to use by itself because when you foil it, it kind of covers up those, there's such fine lines, and it didn't work, but I knew I had to try it. So what I do is I will take a bunch of these and I'll put them on a piece of foil. So let me grab. So here's a little piece of foil. So I will take a bunch of these and try it. Like I said, they're not all going to work. And I'll space them out just a bit. And I know you think I'm wasting all that foil, but really, if you do it this way and run it through, then you can take the black toner paper and put the foil on here, and then you end up with the reverse. Some of them it works, like I said, it doesn't work with the little tiny lettering, but so many of them it does work. And then with these, you can take some of your favorite, like this is a stitched square, and that would work really well for the thank you. Or you can take, but that way you get twice as much. Like I have this miss you, and then I had miss you here, and I have it here. So that's an option. It's not something you have to do, but it gives you another totally different look. And then I ran the sentiments through, and I picked out the sentiments I liked, and I put I love you on this one, and let's do wine on this one. On this one I did Missing You. And I wanted to show you another way. Like if you didn't want to mess with all of those little teeny pieces, you could, I already die cut this, so this was a solid piece, but I die cut this. And I just used the bigger pieces for a background, and I think that looks really cool too. So with this, I would layer it on black because you can see the black in there, and put it on the white, and then decide on a sentiment that I want to use. You know, so you don't have to save all of those little tiny pieces because it is just a little bit putsy, and I know that. But it is such a cool technique, and I wanted to share it. And if you don't want to do that at all, if you don't want to use the press and seal, when you remove your die, you end up with all of these fabulous little tiny pieces that you can use just as some accents on a card if you wanted to. So I saved them, of course I did. But those, if you don't want to do the press and seal technique, you could still save those little pieces and you could do something like this. So lots of possibilities. And my video came back up, but of course I can't see any of the comments. So I'm going to just check and see if I can find some. Yes, Rebecca, you could make dimensional flowers with those. There's so much you could do, which is why I save all the little things, of course. But because it's foiled, you want to save it because there's so much and it's so pretty. But there's lots of possibilities with this technique, and this die is absolutely beautiful. So you want to make sure to like, share, and comment with the hashtag BellaCrafts so that you can enter for the giveaway from Pink and Maine, and they're giving away a prize package. I'm just checking if I can see any other questions. Oh, what die did I use for the scallop border, Gina? For this border, this is one of my basics, and it's a stitched scallop, and it's a Gina Marie Designs. But I think almost every company has something like that. What color blue was I using? Okay, it was denim. So it's Deco foil, and this is the denim color. It is so beautiful. I will go through and answer all of your questions. I think I missed that last week because it was a crazy week. I still have to go through last week's and answer if there were any questions, but I hope you guys like this project. It is fun, and even if you don't want to do the reverse, just doing it this way makes a beautiful card. And the Let's Do Wine, oh, yes, that's like a perfect sentiment to give any girlfriend, right? So I hope you guys give this a try. Join our Do You Love to Craft group and share your projects there because we love to see what others are creating too. So until next week, have fun and be creative. Bye, everyone.